So I'm just stitching away on what I think of as the earth line. So finally I've finished the quilt after 10 months of stitching and working on it. It is quite monotonous, but on the other hand it's quite meditative as well. I actually enjoy this bit equally to the thinking side of a quilt. It's got a nice balance to be doing both. It's one of the big reasons why I make quilts, really. It's a double-sided quilt. So the image on this side shows the tallgrass prairies and they dominate the image. The imagery, I can be very full-on thinking about what is going to go into the piece. But with this, my mind's quite free. So this is my plan drawing for the quilting. It's a bit like my notes for myself to remind me of what I'm aiming for. I quite often work on site with a sketchbook and start recording things that I see there. Now these drawings quite often have a lot of mark making in them because I do them very quickly, and then I make several drawings from that one drawing. As I draw and redraw, there is a certain freedom that comes up. This great big bird-wing butterfly, I think this is. The way that I try and draw or work towards drawing is with a continuous line, putting the pencil on the paper and leaving it on the paper. I'm doing this because the stitching line is just like that. Although I've got these drawings as reference, the process has been to really familiarise myself so much with it that I can just stitch something close to that image. I have done stitching on this side, so the stitching goes all the way through the quilt. This drawing that I talk about on here shows up fully when you go round to the back of the quilt. The idea is that it's suspended in mid-air when it's shown, so that the people viewing can see both sides. On this side, the drawing comes to the forefront more, and the drawing is hinting at some of the history of the tallgrass prairies. The bottom part of the quilt, we've got lots of fossils that have been excavated from the area. So I've represented some of these, like crinoids and ammonites and fossilised ferns and fish. It's a bit like when you go for a walk or something, you can sift through in your mind, you know, what you're going to do in the day or something. Well, it can be like that with this stitching. So I kind of feel like I need this sort of space in my life as well. The stitching is connected with the history of the grasslands. But here you can just about see a house. This is a homesteader's house, and there's a family grouping in the front of it. When I'm making the quilt itself, I'd work with my sort of pure gut reaction to things. You know, I don't sort of intellectualise about the visual aspect of the quilt. I try not to, because I'm working just with the colour line and the visual balance of things. And so then it's like after I've done all that, I might begin to put it into words a bit more simply to communicate with other people about it. That is the only reason I might do that. Because really, I'm quite happy just going along in a wordless space. And what I've tried to create, I think, is layers of time. I can be learning from the textile experience that I'm having. and getting excited about it and thinking that there's good balance in it. And then that sort of reflects on how I'm feeling with my life at the time, you know, getting the balance in there. The big main grass is the bluestem grass, and that's what I've called the quilt. You've got things like switchgrass and Canada wild rye and Indian grass. This is like a print of some of the tall grasses from the tall grass prairie land in Nebraska. So I'm actually using the grasses to make the prints together with the sun's rays. On this hand stitching, I'm really trying not to be aware of the back, so I want those stitches to be unconsciously placed. To me, that feels like there is a richness in that. I don't know what this piece of work was going to look like until I took it off the frame that I was stitching on. Then I see what I've done, really. And I quite often prefer the back because it is so unself-conscious. And so it just has got more of a flow to it. I like certain images to be recognisable, but I don't want them to be too precious. Best to let it go its own way, really. I'll be doing this over probably the next month. I mean, I've done an awful lot of machine stitching on it, so I'm just adding the final layer of stitching, so it won't necessarily go all over it. I've got all this process going on, but in some ways I don't want the process to be particularly visible to the viewer at a distance, but when they go up to it and they see it close to, they will then see the detail. This is definitely the final process of completing the work, all this hand stitching on it. It's been a wonderful journey, actually, just learning about it all and trying to hint at it, really, in this quilt. When it actually gets completed and it's finished, and then I'm exhibiting it or something, it's a strange feeling because I'm no longer engaged with it. It's like I've handed it over to be viewed and I'm no longer part of it, you know. And that feels okay. I mean, particularly, I suppose it feels like I'm giving something to the viewers, you know, hopefully some joy.